This MACD strategy I'm about to show you is one of the highest win rate strategies you can possibly do in trading. It is very easy to use, works in almost every single market, and most importantly, it makes money. Well, enough talk.
Instead of coding this myself from scratch, I want to use two AI models to accelerate the process. They'll be asking each other questions back and forth to get the requirements of the project. So the first AI is aware of the questions that it needs to ask with the end goal of generating MQL5 code that will implement the strategy from that video. The second AI will be using the transcript to answer the questions from the first AI. So the transcript here is like the brain or the source of the truth. A breakdown of the strategy is we have a MACD. Once there's a crossover, we check if the price is above the 200 moving average and also check if it's near support level. If it is, we do a buy, and the opposite is true for sell. So let's see how the AI performs. This other tab you see I keep checking is a tool I'm using to orchestrate this whole agentic system. And despite using different models, it seems the two AIs were stuck on this weird loop of misunderstanding. But the first AI kind of decided it had enough info to generate the code. And because you're actually generating the code and doing the compilation of the code in the background, I've set this up to have a sort of human in the loop where I can approve everything that the first AI has collected so far. So let's say if I was not simulating this with two AIs and I was actually just using this platform myself, at this point I could probably change something like, instead of the default MACD of 1226, I could say maybe I want to use 14 and 5, for example, or add a new indicator or change the indicator, change whatever I need to change before we just get to compiling the code, because compiling the code takes a bit of a time. It's a bit resource intensive and also costs more in terms of token usage because the code will be like quite big. Because we have this strategy as a finality, I did confirm. Once I confirmed, what you can see up here is my terminal. You can see the compilation is happening and the code generated has some errors. So these errors are passed back to the AI and it gives like a more natural language explanation of what went wrong. So in the best case scenario, this would have been like a loop that goes on forever until the AI gets the code right. If it gets it wrong, the compiler gives the AI the logs of the error. The AI implements the fix for that, and then it becomes this like back and forth until we have like perfect compilation. But I did stop it because in this case, I did not want to do that. I think it's faster if I just do it. And it's also cheaper for me to do it at this point because I'm also using OpenAI. It's a bit expensive, and typically I've found that these models really don't perform well with MQL5 in general. Otherwise, if this was like a well-known language like JavaScript or Python, this would have definitely been a good use case for that infinite loop. So this is the code that was generated. I should also mention I did feed the first AI with the modules that I have been curating over the years. That's what this import does, and that's why the code generally looks like it's not a lot. This is like training the AI on everything I know. So I give it this handy function so that it can use that to sort of glue together the strategy that it's currently building. Once I opened that code on MT5, I spent some time solving the few bugs while also doing some minor improvements. I think overall it got the strategy right for the most part. Once I got everything compiling, it was time to do a backtest. So loading the data is probably what took the most time. And once the backtest started, I realized I had some technical errors. So instead of calculating the stop loss and the take profit from the inputs the user was giving, I was just passing them directly as raw values. Went back, fixed that. Also noticed some more technicalities that could be improved. I also improved the inputs and split them into groups to make it easier to see where each setting was. And once I had all that cleanup done, it was now time for backtest again. So I did experiment with this a bit. The worst performing iteration was the one where I was just using everything as is without really literally changing anything. Like the support and resistance are on the same time frame, the MACD is the same time frame, the moving average is the same time frame. But this is the only one that I've seen made some good money. It's not good money, it's not much, considering this is a backtest for the whole year, but I was pretty conservative in the settings, so these are the settings I was using. Feel free to go download the bot and test it for yourself. Let me know which combinations work best for you. You can download it with the link in bio, and also let me know which other videos I should turn into a trading bot in the comments.